Hey everyone, how are you doing? You have Mike here today, and today we're going to talk a little bit about test kits and testing your water. We're going to talk about what test kits we use, what test kits I try to avoid, and yeah, let's get into it. All right, so here we go. We have a bunch of different test kits here, so I'm going to get into them a little bit more in depth. So over here we have lab grade test kits. Now, if you're looking for a test strip, I personally do not like test strips. Just because I had bad experiences with the Tetra brand test strips and the Jungle Val test strips. Found them to be fairly inaccurate and just really wasn't happy with them. Going with these lab grade test kits, definitely noticed a big improvement. Now, Macherey-Nagel, they are amazing company for test strips. You will notice that they are a lot more expensive though. You might be spending up to $30 to $50 for a bottle of test strips, which some people just can't do and won't do. That's totally fine. You don't need to use lab grade test kits, but if you're looking for something that's dead accurate, that's probably going to be your best bet in order to do that. So basically, I've also tried the JBL Pro Scan. Now, this here was a really cool idea. Give them that. It comes with a cell phone app that you actually scan. You stick this in your water, and it basically gives you a good test result of your water. Unfortunately, that's how it's supposed to work. I did not have any luck with the JBL Pro Scan. I found it to be very inaccurate, testing it against all of these test strips. I even outsourced and did a free water testing at PetSmart to confirm that all my other tests were right, and kind of came up to the same conclusion. This test strip is really not accurate. I've tried all of the tricks out there, including raising the light, letting it overdevelop, and still really just was not very accurate. I didn't find it that worked very well. So this here is one that I personally will stay away from. And then we have our good old-fashioned AQUA Master Test Kit. It's an almost Master Test Kit. It is missing your KH and your GH. That should be in there. I really wish they did, but they didn't. So we'll have to go with that. So what I'm going to do here today is show you guys a couple little tricks, especially with the pH, because this is kind of one that's got the high and low range. Some people have a hard time reading it. So I'm just going to show you a couple tricks that we use in order to help with that. So what I should do is probably start with the base here. So I'm going to go my high and low. I'm going to start with my high first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So with the high, we got 5 drops. With the low, we have 3 drops. API is really nice, has its own mark right on the front for you. So I know that my tap water is usually kind of sits around 7, 6.8 to 7. I'm just going to give this a little bit of an agitation here because I can't put my cap on right away, and you will see why in a moment. All right, so that's kind of mixed up a little bit. Let's do the same with this one here. Now, I'm usually very scared to tap these vials because anyone that's really used the API test kit vials know that they are not the greatest vials to begin with. I've broken and shaken them in my hand before, so I always kind of be careful when you're doing this stuff. So here we can tell, just by looking at it, and just by knowing about what my water is, that I can tell you that my pH is probably somewhere around 6.8 to 7. So I know for a fact that this year is going to be the lowest that it's going to show. So up at 6.4. So a little trick that I have, if you guys have some aragonite lying around, or some limestone, or some crushed coral, if you're having a really hard time to actually judge what your water is, throw some of that in this vial. Now, I'm going to show you a little experiment here that I have. I have some aragonite in the caps, and what I'm going to do is put a piece of paper behind these 2 vials so you can actually really see the change, because it happens very quick. Now this cap here is on. What I'm going to do is kind of give it a little shake to wash it down in the bottom. Because like I said, these vials, they kind of scare me a little bit. I've had one break in my hands a couple times. I know quite a few other fish keepers have had the same thing happen, complain about it. What I'm going to do is kind of put this in here, give it a little bit of a shake. You can already see that's already went to blue, to a solid blue. So that's knocked out at about 7.4 on the scale here. I'm going to put this aragonite in this one. I'm going to put it on, give it a little shake so it goes down in the vial, and you could see a dramatic change. Now, if I would have did that a little faster and had it in front, like I was trying to do, you would have really seen this change on the scale. Now, I find that the high pH range, So I find that the high pH range is a little bit harder to read than the low pH range, just because the colors don't actually fully match up with what it looks on the results. Now, that's kind of with all of these tests. It's never going to be a perfect matchup of colors, but you can really see this gap here from it going from 8.2 to 8.4. You could really kind of watch it change. So if you're trying to keep your pH in the 8 range, it's a little bit difficult if you don't really know what 8.4 looks like to 8.8. So by actually running a little experiment like this and watching it change through the course, kind of gives you a better understanding of what it's going to look like at that level. That's the only reason why I did this little experiment here for you guys, so you can see. Now, if I had a little bit lighter blue of a water, maybe around 7.2, you could actually put it compared to this and then go, okay, well, that blue is definitely a lot darker than this blue, kind of more of a greenish tint, and then to give you a better understanding of how to read it. Now, I love the AQUA test kits. The only thing that I don't really like about it is the color charts don't really quite match the colors on the test. But if you use these tests for a while, you'll definitely figure it out and how it works. I personally don't even use this chart because I know what the colors look like on the test. So just by looking at it for a second, I kind of go, oh, okay, I know where I am. But if you are new to this, definitely don't want to lose this, all right? But yeah, here you go. You can see now that if I put this down here, you can see that my purple, I'm kind of in about 6.4 range or 8.4 range right now, getting closer to it anyway. And if I let this develop for another 10 minutes, this will hit the 8.8 mark. I've done this example before to take a picture and show it to some people online, and it's helped them out. So I wanted to show you guys that little trick anyway. Now, what I'm going to do here is I want to show you some cool tools that I use to test my my water. Now, right here we have the standard pipette. I think I paid like $2 or $3 and I got 50 of these. One of these things filled up with water will give you a full test tube up to about here. So this is a really cool tool in order to use. You can also go to your drugstore and you can ask for some of these things. Now, this here is a up to 10 milliliter syringe. These tests here hold 5 milliliters. So if you have 10 milliliters, you can do 2 vials at the exact same time. So this here is a cool, definitely a little useful toy. I also have a smaller one here because if you don't have a pipette, you can put a piece of airline tubing on this. And if you ever had to force feed a sick fish, this here is a great solution to do this. So your pharmacist will probably usually just give you these if you go in and ask for it. So that's a great little tip as well. Also, one of these things here, this is more for a cough syrup, but this here will do the same thing for you. We have one of these here. This is basically just from a small shrimp tank setup, and it works very well. So this is here's how I get my water into the tubes. I never put these vials in my tank. It's just like with my test strips. I never dip my test strips in my tank. Some of them say it's safe to do that, but I just don't trust it. These chemicals could possibly harm your fish. I don't believe in just dipping them in the test strip. All right, so one thing with the nitrate now, a lot of people that are saying that they're having problems testing their nitrate with the API test kit, they're not getting accurate results. This is probably because you're not shaking the bottle correctly. When it comes to shaking your number 2 bottle for your nitrate, that has to be extensively shaken for a good 30 seconds. Now they say 30, I actually go 45. I want to make sure that it's perfectly shaken. And when I'm pouring it in, I'm putting the bottle directly upside down. It's because there's little tiny, I'm not sure if they're crystals or stuff in that bottle that needs to get to the bottom. So if you're having it on the side, it's probably not going in there evenly. Now it wants you to have it shaken for that specific reason. And if you're doing that, your nitrate test should be fairly accurate with the API test kit. And if you're looking for something other than the API test kit, CChem has some great test kits for that. They come with controls and everything. So if you're looking for something that's dead accurate, I'm going to say liquid test kits, unless you're going with a lab grade test kit. So that's my 2 cents on this stuff, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, throw me a like, and you guys have yourself a great day.